the power of this technology goes so far beyond what like the typical like table conversation about VR gives it credit for. You know, like we talk about it as like a useful tool or an immersive, fun experience, but what we're talking about is like truly transformational.
It should be perfectly possible to trick your brain into any experience if your brain can already do that itself naturally. So VR is almost like taking that ability for our brain to generate any experience for us and like putting it in our hands, which is wild.
Man, that's something in the history books. People are going to look back and be like, yeah, 2022, 2023. That's when education, after hundreds of years, finally upgraded.
We're in a strange time where our physical worlds are intersecting with our digital identities, and right now is a time to kind of determine what you want that to be.
Once you have full body tracking that works well and it's frictionless, right? Meaning it's easy to do.
Yes.
It's a whole new, it's not a game changer, it's a whole new game.
So maybe there will be some other people who would be curious to see what I'm learning, what I'm discovering, so to say. And that's how the Discover YouTube channel started.
Oh, not really disco VR, Discover.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel bad when people ask me about VR, or they're like, what do you do? Like, all right, you asked, here it comes.
I love VR, but I love going out and breathing fresh air. And not only was I stuck in VR for 10 days, I was stuck in one room because I was streaming, the same space. I didn't see the sunlight. I totally lost track of what time everything was.
She dances with the robot. She does the first steps. She dances with that robot. She takes that thing off her face. I have the video. I'm holding it hostage. She takes it off her head and she says, I gotta have it.
There are a few moments in my life I can remember very vividly. The day I got married, the day my kids were born, the day Facebook announced that they bought Oculus is one of those days. I was making chili.
I've been in a lot of gaming communities, and the VR community is by far the best community that I've ever been involved with.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Between Realities VR podcast. Man, let me tell you, it's good to be here. It feels like it has been, I don't know, a really long time since we did a show.
Dude, I don't remember ever canceling shows before. And life just came for both of us in the past 2 weeks.
It did.
Like fast and furious. So, but hey, we're back.
We are back. Yeah. We are back. It feels amazing to be back in the saddle. I'm so excited to be here next to you, my good sir. It's Skiva that I'm sitting next to. I'm Alex, by the way. Hi, I'm Alex. That's
Hey, Alex.
Skiva.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Skiva. Nice to meet you as well. We're Between Realities, you and me.
Sweet. That's pretty rad. I like the name.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, you named it. You know, like when we were like putting our heads together, like we're like, all right, we're gonna do a podcast. You know, that's for sure. What are we gonna call it? What are we gonna name it? You know, we put our
that's
heads
always
together.
the worst thing is like when you're starting something new. It was the same thing with Impact Reality. Like, how do you name that thing?
Dude,
right?
I can't name like one-off video game characters. I'll like make a new character in an RPG, and I'll be sitting there looking at the name screen for like an hour, like completely dead stuck in my tracks sometimes. But you know, we put together a list. We had a nice big old list, like a Word document or something like that, and there was a whole bunch of subpar and lame names on there, and all of a sudden I'm cruising through it and I see a Skiva contribution. It says Between Realities, and I was like, oh my god. That's it.
That's the one.
That's the one. And here we are. The rest is history. You know, 4 years later, 8 seasons deep, and we're finally canceling episodes due to real life stuff.
Well, I guess we had a good run.
We did. We did. But, you know, luckily we have an amazing audience, an amazing group of fellow VR, I don't know, people, VR enthusiasts, VR lifestylists who understand, you know what I mean? So we have a couple of guests that we're rescheduling now. But anyway, it's good to see y'all. Thanks for your patience while we were doing our thing.
Space Tennyson says, does Alex know he's in Betty's chat? I don't even know what that means.
In Betty's chat?
Yeah.
Well,
what do you mean, Space Tennyson?
I did post a link to this episode in Betty's Discord. In her, get him to the Bettyverse Discord.
Get him to the Bettyverse.
Yeah, it was Betty late than never news. But anyway, hey everybody, good to see you. You know, things are cool. We're all doing good now. You know, life's back on track, and we're excited to be doing Between Realities again. We're live on YouTube right now.
It's back on track. That track, sometimes wheels are falling off. Sometimes bolts are coming out. But hey, we're on the track. We're on it.
Dude, we're on it. All right. If we can survive that, we can survive anything. It's Friday. It's April 12th, 2024. And
that it is.
We're on YouTube right now, but this episode is also going to be available on Spotify. Maybe you're listening to us on Spotify or Anchor or Audible.
It's not on Audible.
Get it on Audible, man.
It's not on Audible.
I don't know why. We've talked about this. Get it on Audible. Jeez.
Maybe someday it'll be on Audible, but probably not. Probably not today.
Whatever. Anyway, it's on all of your favorite platforms. It's even on uploadvr.com because we are proud correspondents of uploadvr.com. They are our homies. They are the fam. And they might be hosting this episode this weekend. And if you're catching this on Upload, that's pretty cool. And we appreciate you. I saw Brat in the chat earlier. So early, in fact, that his message isn't even there anymore.
Man, Brat is like, for anyone that wonders if Brat is how he is on video, he is the kindest, sweetest one of the kindest, sweetest people I've ever known. He's just absolutely amazing, and you should all be hopping over there and hitting that subscribe button because he is just like the real deal.
And his content
amazing person
is like useful. He makes like legitimately useful content, especially when it comes to like accessories and stuff. If you're like looking at like head straps, facial interfaces, batteries, like any of that stuff, like he is your guy. Like his content is very, very good.
He's 100% going to tell it to you straight. You know, he might be friendly with a lot of the people that make these things, but man, he ain't pulling no punches. Doesn't matter.
Nope, not at all. You know who else doesn't pull the punches? ClassyGrandma.
Oh, Classy, how you doing?
Classy, good to see you. Thanks for being here with us. Substatica's in the house as well. I love it. Love to see Substatica.
Hey, what's up?
Cool stuff on Twitch. If you've never seen the Twitch live streams, you're missing out. You should go check that out.
See some
MickeyBerr, dude. Dropping codes in all the live chats out there. You don't have to drop it in this one, okay, buddy? Relax. But we appreciate your contributions to the VR community, brother. It was also awesome hanging out with you in San Francisco.
Yeah, it was.
Q Creator says the weekend has arrived, and he is completely correct, as per usual. Beyond Frames Entertainment, that's Maeve. What's up, Maeve?
Hey, what's up, Maeve?
Mahina, that's right. Getting things done. Let's do this.
Hey, what's up, Jay Don?
He says, my favorite VR podcast with two of my favorite VR peeps.
We love you,
bro,
dude.
Come on, bro. Bro. Miles Dyer. Yo.
Oh, what's up, Miles?
Thanks for being here in the chat, man. We're fans, and this is my first interaction with you, and I hope you're doing well, my good sir.
Heck yeah.
Todd from Q2C VR Gamer says, what's up, party people?
Hey, what's up, Todd?
And then he proceeds to drop 5 Between Realities memberships in the chat.
Oh, thanks, man.
Dude. What
Appreciate
a guy.
You, dude.
What a sweetheart.
Heck yeah.
He's my favorite person to bunk up with in an Airbnb.
Oh, for real.
We don't even need separate beds. We can just sleep in one. It's like we have.
He's very cuddly.
We have that thing.
Yeah.
You know? Funky Sloth is here. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you, Funky Sloth. Duggars K and Assassin 32 and VR Spry Guy and Amelia Faust, all grabbing these these memberships along with Funky Sloth. That's pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
Laszlo 216 Cleveland Heights represent. Hell yeah, bro. Riamu VR, let's go. That's a good idea. Let's do it.
And we have Mr. and Mrs. Grey Wolf. Oh, what's up, Grey Wolves?
You guys are cool, I guess. Man, you know, my mouse is not working.
Well, who needs a mouse?
I know. Brandon VR was here. Snow Toad is here. Rusty Nugget JJ, he's here.
Hey, what's up, man?
Dude.
Happy birthday. It was his birthday yesterday.
What?
Yep.
Yesterday?
Or the day before yesterday.
Yeah, well, very recently he had a birthday.
He did. Happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Sweaty Nug. Rusty Nug, or whatever the hell you want to get called these days. You're Rusty. You're Sweaty Nuggy as far as I'm concerned. Oh man, the Surface is just, it's tanking, bro.
It's in its last days.
Well, I don't know. It's in its last like current moments. Like it doesn't want to stick around. Who else you got in the chat for us, Skiva?
Oh man, we got Hussein X, Space Denizen, who we briefly mentioned before. What's up, man? We got Baxern VR dropping $5, saying Naysy is amazing. Whoa. And you guys are too.
Oh, hell
Thanks so much. You're pretty amazing. Got Brandon VR, who absolutely shreds in shooters. You don't want to go up against him.
No, you don't. I appreciate that he's been making content too, and going to stuff. He went to the PAX meetup for the Game Cats. He was at CES.
Yep.
Like, that's what we're talking about, people. You hear us out here talking about these events all the time, and we're like, hey, you should come. Brandon was like, okay, I will. He's an example of that. It can be done.
Got Ninja Guy VR. How's it going? Do we mention Snow Toad? The legendary Snow Toad?
Yeah, I think we did, but
well, he deserves multiple mentions.
Yeah, bears repeating.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us all.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. And maybe I'll get access to my chat again. Maybe not. I don't know. Whatever. We'll
Here goes MickeyBerr with those game keys.
Oh, what's he dropping?
Grab him. Arizona Sunshine Deluxe Edition.
Oh, damn.
Heck yeah.
Okay, that's not a bad.
Zork VR in here too. What's up?
Hell yeah. Zork asking about Fallout 4 in our Discord.
About Fallout, because Fallout the show started on Amazon Prime, right? Mm-hmm. I'm dying to watch that. I haven't seen any yet, but yeah.
Well, listen, maybe whatever. Today's guest, almost needs no introduction, I would say. This is somebody, if you've been paying attention to VR, there's no way you have not seen a video of this girl at the very least ripping it up in Beat Saber. She is definitely a prominent figure in our space and a true lover of virtual reality, which I truly appreciate.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and not just a lover of virtual reality, but like of all of the aspects of it too. Like we're playing with treadmills and haptic vests and full body trackers and all kinds of goofy fun stuff, and making it all very accessible and approachable and lighthearted and fun. And it's an honor to be able to introduce her as today's guest. So everybody please welcome to Between Realities, Naysy. Hi, Naysy.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah, thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. It's awesome to see you here on the show and get to kind of just chat VR with you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. You've been a Between Realities fan for so long, and it's so nice to finally be able to join us, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we've been a fan of yours for a very long time as well. We've been watching your, I don't know, probably the whole journey, right? I think we've been around for quite a while. You've been doing VR content for what, 4 years, 5 years now? Does that sound accurate?
I Googled it last night. I'm like, when did I start doing VR content? It was actually like way back in 2017.
Dang.
I started dabbling in VR, but I started like properly doing it, I think, in like 2019.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Because I was like digging around on your YouTube channel. I'm like, all right, like what was her first VR video? What did she do before VR? And I kind of got the vibe that like you were streaming before YouTube videos became a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So you were streaming horror games and stuff like that to start?
Yeah, I was streaming I think from 2016. I first started streaming like FPS games like Call of Duty and Overwatch. And yeah, I think like my VR journey, 2017, I was obsessed with Rick and Morty.
Nice.
And then Rick and Morty VR came out, and I'm like, I need to play this. So I borrowed my friend's HTC Vive and was streaming that. And it's like, what other VR games are there?
How is that game not more popular, by the way?
Yeah, I know.
It's Rick and Morty.
I just missed the mark. Yeah, maybe it was too early. I think it was just to exist now to be way come out now to be way bigger.
So was it too early on the VR front or the Rick and Morty front or both? It was pretty early in I think it was between season 1 and season 2 or something like that game came out.
Yeah.
So it's pretty early in Rick and Morty's life cycle.
Man, I can't help but to think if that were to hit the Quest today, the sales would be astronomical.
Yeah.
You know,
because it is fun. It's got that like job simulator vibe. You can just, well, obviously, right?
Made by
Alchemy Labs. But like, you can just get in there and like play around, and like it's kind of approachable and it's fun and it's silly. So were you like, you said you were playing like Call of Duty and Overwatch and stuff like that. Like, were you playing those games before you decided that you wanted to be a streamer? Like, have you always been a hardcore gamer? Did you want to become a content creator and then you used gaming as a way to get into it? Like, tell us a little bit about how like you actually started.
Yeah, I've been gaming, I guess, like my whole life, I guess, like Nintendo 64 and then like Xbox games and PlayStation games. And originally, like, I was working at an Apple store and I was studying to be like a school teacher. And I'm like, you know what? I'm really passionate about games. I'm going to go do a games degree. So I went and did a games degree. And after that, like, it's kind of hard to get jobs in games, at least in Australia. And I was like passionate about social media. I ended up getting like a social media job at Sponge Games. So if you're not too familiar with them, they're making Dead Second, if you've seen that kind of arcade game.
Oh yeah, Dead Second's cool.
Yeah, so I was doing social media and marketing for them for like mobile games, doing mobile games then. And then like I was kind of researching, because you got to like reach out to content creators and stuff, and I discovered Twitch. I'm like, what the hell's Twitch? I'm like, this looks kind of fun. I'm gonna give this a go. So I started like streaming just like after work and completely fell in love with it, and it kind of continued to grow. And yeah, I got to a position where I'm just like, I think I could kind of take this more seriously.
Wow, that's so crazy. So when you realized that you wanted to get into games, because like I also had this like wake up moment where I'm like, games. I love games. Wait a second. I freaking love games. Why am I doing other stuff? You know? And I thought, and this has actually happened to me before VR did, and I thought that I would have to learn how to make them. Like I was like, well, that's what you do. Like, you know, you got to learn how to make games. Was that the same? Were you like, I guess I have to be a developer?
Yeah. Well, I went into the games degree. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like, I kind of majored in like the animation stuff, but by the end of my degree, I'm like, I don't really have a portfolio. Like, I wasn't great at it. I'm just like, I just want to work in games. And luckily, I was able to jump into marketing and social media. Yeah. But yeah, I just knew I wanted to work in games.
Yeah, I feel you. And I feel like that's where a lot of us are finding our place. You know what I mean? Impact Reality, starting a marketing and PR firm, you know, like that's very much embedded in exactly what you're talking about now. Yep. And it's cool how you were able to like kind of make the same transition that a lot of us did. Like you're like, okay, I know I need to be in games, and I'm not going to make it. So maybe I can do like the social media aspect. Maybe I can connect with the community. And, you know, I feel like a lot of us have found our way into the space in a very similar path.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like passion, like it sounds cliche, but it's like follow your dreams. Like I think follow your passion is like terrifying, but it's a rewarding journey, and you can find ways to, I guess, discover new opportunities and careers, and I think that's lots of fun.
Yeah, you know, I often step back and look at life and how quickly it's going by, and like I feel like I was just like, you know, getting my first NES when I was a little kid yesterday, and now I'm old. You know what I mean? And like life is too short, literally, to not do what you really love and not contribute to the industries that you really feel that you have a passion for, you know? Like it's very easy to get caught in like the golden handcuffs of a job that pays you well, or you just don't feel like you can do it or get into the industry. And sometimes you just have to like show up at every door that there is and kick it in, you know, and be like, I'm here, you know, deal with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I'm not going away. So props. Mad props.
So it's just a couple of questions out of the chat. Who were you playing as when you were playing Overwatch?
I played as Junkrat a lot.
Junkrat.
He's Australian, but like you can spam like the little grenade things, and people hate that, and it was lots of fun.
Nice. Yeah, you know, we had some people maybe guessing some healer in the chat, you know, but no, you're out there, you're murking fools.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So, like I said, I did some digging on your channel, and you know, I think the very first upload of yours was an Outlast stream, you know, which is like, okay, she took some Twitch moments, put them up on here, and that's pretty cool. But it wasn't long after that that I started to see some of the VR content, and I think the very first video you put up was a vacation simulator video. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think that was right. I had more Beat Saber on my channel, but I had to delete them, so you probably didn't see a lot of that stuff. But yeah, I was streaming a lot of that stuff, and it's like you have like 2-3 hours worth of content, so I guess like you try and chop that up and put it up on YouTube. And in those early days, like people say do YouTube, but I don't know how to do it, so I was just kind of uploading different stuff and like what works kind of thing.
So you said was it Rick and Morty? Like you played Rick and Morty, and then like all of a sudden you're like, oh, dude, okay, wait a second, like this VR thing is like the serious business. Or did you like kind of like bounce from thing to thing until you hit Beat Saber, and now has your life changed? Like how did VR like really grab a hold of you?
Pretty much like I was streaming, like I had a VR Friday, like Friday,
nice.
Where like every Friday night stream, because I was streaming like 5 to 6 nights a week then. Like every Friday was we'll check out a VR game. And I was doing that for about a year, and I kind of ran out of games. Like VR wasn't super massive then, so I did like stop playing VR. And I was borrowing my friend's VR headset. I'm like, oh, I should probably give that back. Because Beat Saber didn't exist then. And eventually I was doing a lot of work with like 2K and Borderlands. And they're like, here, Naysy, here's a PlayStation VR. And I'm like, okay, it's like to play Borderlands. And I'm like, oh, this Beat Saber game. I've heard of that game. And yeah, I checked that out. I'm like, oh, I'm obsessed.
Dang.
And I like went straight out and bought an Oculus Rift and went down the rabbit hole of like modding and setting up like a mixed reality setup. Because you know, Hey Falcon?
Yep.
He works at like Synth Riders. We went to school together.
Oh no way.
So,
that's amazing.
Yeah. It's like a weird like thing. But he was doing the mixed reality stuff, and I'm like, dude, I need to do this. Like, yeah, show me the way. And yeah.
That is so, man, God, that like, you know, like as Americans, sometimes we like get caught in our own little America bubble, and we don't really think about the grander world, okay? And like, I try not to assume that like if you're from Australia, you must know every other Australian I've ever met. But I feel like that is the case in the VR space, man. Like,
it is.
It really
like
is.
Me, Hey Falcon, and Toge, who does like the trailers at Live, like we all live in like, you know, kind of the same vicinity, which is super handy. Super handy.
That's so rad.
Those guys are both extremely talented. Toge, like anytime that dude puts out a video, it blows my mind. And then when him and Falcon get together, forget it. And then you pop it. I've seen you in a bunch of the videos. Oh my God, what a dream team! Yeah, absolute dream team. Amazing.
Yeah, it's super convenient because they're like, oh, we need someone for a trailer. Like, oh, Naysy's down the road.
Boom. Yeah, and I mean,
super good.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better, you know. Like you are like ideal for trailers and like content like that. You know, you have like such a distinct look. You know, your vibe is on point. You're known by the community, and you obviously love the games too, which goes a really long way, I think. So that's pretty rad. And you've also been rocking the pink hair from the very beginning.
Purple?
Like, or, yeah, purple. It's purple. It is purple.
Yeah.
You've been rocking the purple hair from the very beginning, and like obviously, you know, everybody loves it. You know, I hope you love it because it looks great and it's, you know, exciting and definitely kind of like makes you, you know, creates like this distinct look. But were you like experimenting with fun hair colors before you became a streamer, or did becoming a streamer kind of like push you into, you know, doing something fun with your hair?
No, I had it like for a while. Like, yeah, I've had it for like 9 years or something ridiculous.
Wow.
I think I was just experimenting with fun hair. I guess I've like always been a bit like quirky and like kind of quirky fashion and stuff like that. So yeah, I did the purple hair and like found it really fun. And then when I got into streaming, I'm kind of like, oh, this like works really well as like branding, and people can recognize you a lot easier. And then yeah, like the more I kind of got bigger with content, it's like, okay, yeah, this stuff is helpful. And I go through phases. Like I did have a phase when I went back to brown because I'm like, it's like I love the purple hair, but like maintaining it sucks. Like you gotta bleach it and all that crap. And yeah, so I do get over that, but I do love the purple.
Yeah, I saw you tried to give it up like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, ah, no, I'm going natural, damn it. And
yeah. I didn't feel like myself, but I love the purple. Just not maintaining it. But I'm like, it's part of the job now.
I feel you. Yeah, it's just a part of the package.
So.
No way. Do you really write off your hair treatment?
Yeah, my accountant said I can because it's like my branding. So I'm like, okay.
I love
you
that.
You should write off as much as you can, and you'd be amazed if you look. You can write. There's a whole lot that you can write off because it's all business related.
Well, like I feel like the Skiva chin hair is like a part of the brand. You know, like can you write off your shaving cream?
Probably.
And like keep it going.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Also, you know, the name Naysy, which, you know, by the way, your real life name Anais. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Is it Anais?
No.
How do you pronounce it?
I was hoping you'd try. So it's spelled Anais, but the S is silent. Although you kind of said it the French way. But it's a nay.
A nay. A nay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In French, it's like Anais or something. But
yeah, because I'm pretty sure I've seen a cartoon where someone pronounces this name with the S, like Anais. Like I feel like I've heard it pronounced that way before. But a nay.
Yeah.
I really like
I think that's a proper French way, but in Australia it's a nay for some reason. But yeah, it's super. Half the time, like I don't even use my real name because they're just like Naysy's easier because people can never pronounce it right.
Well, now
Naysy's,
I can see the jump. I can see where it comes from almost. You know, like I was gonna ask you where Naysy comes from, but now that I hear you pronouncing it a nay, Naysy, it's like is it like a play off of your real name then?
Yeah, it's just a nickname. It's like what I got called in school, like Naysy or Nay. So it's like,
that's
works.
great. Skiva had his nickname in school.
Mm-hmm.
People were calling him Skiva when he was in like middle school and high school.
Yeah, and I also do not introduce myself as anything else but Skiva. Like sometimes, every once in a while, someone calls me by my real name, and it takes me back. I'm like, what? Are you my mom?
So Substatica has brought up something that I was just about to get to, which is, I think, incredibly interesting. And I got to know, like, what was going through your head when you saw this shit, Naysy. This Population 1 skin, okay? We're going to show it on the screen now. What was going through your head when you're on Twitter and you cruise across a post with Population 1 with this as an available skin? Which, by the way, if you're an audio listener right now, imagine a picture of Naysy. There you go. That's the skin in Population 1. Like, what is this?
Yeah, like at first I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then everyone's like, no, they've copied you. You need to do something about this. I'm like, do I? Like, I don't know. It's that weird thing. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean,
should I be upset about it?
Well, you know, that's like what Skiva's immediate reaction was when we kind of talked about this before the show. My immediate reaction is that it's like extremely cool, you know, but also like I was just saying, like you have such a distinct look, you have like a brand, you know what I mean? Like this is clear. Like if you've been connected to VR and you've seen this image, like it's pretty clear that is your likeness. And they're selling it, right? Like. That's the part that makes me feel like maybe they should have talked to you.
Yeah, if there's
first.
any kind of monetary gain that happens with your likeness, see, it's not just like, this is Population 1. This is awesome, right? Very cool game. The game's been around forever. It's known as like, you know, one of the biggest games in VR. But I feel like this sets a precedence, personally, that if one company can use your likeness without your approval, then what if some crappy game comes out that is absolutely terrible, but no thought into it, but they're selling it based off your image? Like like there's just, you know, a lot of this stuff is just based on precedence, and I feel like it's just not cool to use your likeness without express written consent. But maybe I'm just being I don't know.
I kind of sit on the line, you know, like I agree with that entirely. And like I said, especially if they're making money, like because, you know, you've got a thing, you're a vibe. And if they're just going to take your vibe and like start cashing in on it, like, I don't know if they made it like a free update where like everyone who logs in from like this time to that time gets this skin, then like maybe, and then they link to your freaking YouTube channel or something, then like maybe like an actual like partnership could have been better, you know? But,
well, that's what I would have liked. It's like, you know, let's do a collab and cosplay and all this stuff. But I didn't know they were selling it actually, so I'm like, okay.
I guess I'm assuming.
I don't know that they're selling it either. I have no idea. I'm just assuming that it's to get people in the game, and they are now free to play. Right.
So cosmetics
are how they maintain their studio and they pay their salaries and like.
If you're in chat and you know exactly how this skin is being used in the game, please let us know, because I would be very interested to see it. I can't imagine that this is something other than a purchasable skin.
Yeah, but we don't know that for sure.
We
just to be clear,
we don't.
You know,
but they also never mentioned it to you, which is insane, right?
No.
Like you just were on Twitter and then you saw this picture, and you even said on Twitter, you're like, is this me? LOL. And who was in the chat? Who was in the comments?
Yeah,
Eric for president.
Eric.
And he said yes.
So like, wait, dude, like legally, maybe you shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah. So I know, I do think it's cool. Like, especially
in chat, what do you think? Please put in chat what you think about this, as far as like, should this be a thing? Should this be allowed by companies to just take someone's likeness and not even ask them? Because I'm curious what everyone thinks on this.
Well, we've been lucky enough to have you know, our voices in Pixel Ripped. You know, I have my picture in Pixel Ripped, the second one, and every time that has happened from Arvory, they hit us up. They're like, hey, what's up? We're thinking about honoring you in our game with this. Do you accept? And if so, please sign this release. You know, so like we signed releases for those kinds of things. Again, you didn't. Now it's I guess they could argue that it's not you. They could say, hey, listen, Naysy doesn't own the purple bob. All right, there's other people out there with the purple bob, but like, dang, does that look like you, girl? Not just your hair, but like the face looks like you. Like it is very uncanny. So I don't know.
That weird thing is like, I want to support the VR industry and developers and blah blah blah. Like I don't want to attack like VR developers or cause shit, but like also it's like I don't want to be, I guess, I don't know.
Well, you shouldn't be taken advantage of, you know, to his point, like this, it's kind of like if this is okay, then a lot of other stuff would be okay. And it's kind of like, maybe we should be nipping this in the bud. And like, you know,
it's pretty easy to ask. You know what I mean? It's pretty easy.
Right.
Hey, can we do this? Yeah, sweet. Thanks.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you would have said yes, you know? Right, because you're like, obviously you're kind of chill already, and they didn't even ask for your permission. You know?
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, you know,
it's a weird one, and it's like, a lot of people had a stronger reaction than I did, I guess. But yeah.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad that you aren't tripping about it, and that, you know, regardless, it seems like you're gonna be okay. You know, some, like people in like Substatica in the chat is like, it should be a Naysy branded skin. Duh. Like that should be a no-brainer. You know, like if you're gonna do that and you're gonna confirm that you were the inspiration for that character, they should have given you an opportunity to get somehow partnered in on that. So I don't know, maybe we can, you know, I don't know, figure out what the hell happened. You know, like hit somebody up, or, you know, like, I don't know, do you have like people, you know, like you're pretty large at this point in terms of like your, you know, your presence, your influence, the size of your audience. Do you have like people for this kind of thing, or is this kind of uncharted territory for you?
I guess like I just have a manager that helps me manage deals and stuff, and like he can like reach out. I mean, like, I don't know, we might, I don't know, I just want to ask them, be like, hey, what's happening?
Interesting. Oh, and Looper the Underground Game Cat, hello, thanks for being here. They said, unfortunately, Arvory also revealed one content creator's real name in the credits when he explicitly asked them not to. They patched it later, but shouldn't have happened in the first place. This
is true. Now, things like that definitely shouldn't happen, but at least there was an agreement to begin with. There was a mistake that was made. Mistakes happen. You don't accidentally drop someone's likeness into a game altogether, though. You know, like, oops, I clicked a button and now Naysy is a playable character in Population 1. You know what I mean?
I need the skin for the record. Like, I will be getting this skin. Like, no doubt about it. Like, how can we not? You know, like, it's like, it is you at the end of the day, you know? And like, I do like that. But also, what if they're making money? I really wish I knew. Is it even out? Maybe it's not in the game yet.
It says now, available now.
Dang, how come nobody plays Pop 1 anymore?
Well, I don't know. It is a phenomenal game, and it's so good that people played it for so long and an incredible amount of hours, and people just kind of get burnt on it. That happens with every good game. Like, you can't play Half-Life Alyx forever, even though it's phenomenal, right? So it's just the way it is, and hopefully they have something else kind of in the works for us. That would be great, you know. Pop 1 just has mechanics that are amazing. It feels good. The climbing, the flying, like the gun mechanics, everything is just really good. So,
do you like Pop 1, Naysy?
I played it like way back when it first came out, and it was pretty fun. Yeah, I had fun with it, and I think it's a smart move going free to play. But yeah, I don't know. I know they've got a hardcore community that I think got frustrated with certain things. I don't know. I haven't kept up with it.
Yeah, it's competitive, you know, and there are ways that you can cheat in that game. you know, and I think it's pretty easy for people to figure out. You know, it's kind of interesting because, you know, back when I was working with Haptics, I was working closely with the guy who made the mod for Population 1 for Haptics, and he is just like a hobbyist who just like went in there, figured things out, and figured out how to do it. And he added like directional input for the haptic vibration, so like you could tell from what direction you were getting hit with the bullets. And to get that information, he knew everything. Like his mod for Haptics, if it fell into the wrong hands, I shouldn't even be saying this at this point really, because I'm pretty sure, well, it's probably broken now, but yeah, if it fell into the wrong hands, they could have easily taken the information from that mod and just cheated with it like crazy. Like it gives you god powers, you know. So I think that that's a kind of a problem there. And also like because there isn't like a massive pool of people, newcomers are getting tossed in with the sweatiest mofos out there, you know, and they're just getting like one shot 360 no scoped, you know.
Yeah, that's tough when there isn't a big enough player base to be able to properly rank the games, you know, so you get put in with people that'll just absolutely destroy you. And there's no real balance to the players in there. But I mean, at the end of the day though, it is really a great game. I'm glad it's free. I'm glad people that can grab a VR headset for the first time, grab that game free of charge, get in there and really see some of the best that VR has to offer, because man, you know, it's a good game.
It is good. The mechanics are great. Like you were saying, flying, climbing, jumping, shooting, like looting, all that stuff. It does feel really, really good. Snowtoad just dropped 5 pounds in the chat saying, great show with yet another great guest. God,
thanks, man.
Snowtoad, man. You know, he's the guy.
Let's get some confetti for Snowtoad. Yay. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Confetti. I love it. Yeah, thank you guys for your donations, your memberships, and just for supporting us. You know, it means a lot. It means a lot to us.
It does.
We love you guys.
So Naysy, you recently went to CES, which is where we got to spend a little bit of time together. Was that your first CES? What did you think?
It was interesting. Like, I didn't know what to expect, but it also wasn't quite what I expected as well. It was just like way bigger than I ever expected, and a lot of like smaller tech stuff as well that I really expect, but less VR stuff than I guess I wanted. But I think a lot of people said that it was just quite a year for VR.
Yeah, it was a kind of a bummer for me personally. Like I understand why people like why companies like Meta don't have massive presence at CES, but it to me is not the play. Like he's saving a little bit of money to like not properly convey the current state of VR. Like I feel like companies like Meta almost have a responsibility to like make sure that like the general public understands where we are with VR today. And when companies like Meta don't come and there's nothing there, like there are people from like different industries who don't care about VR at all, and it's only when they go to CES or like, hey, maybe I'll go check out the robots, maybe I'll go check out the AI, maybe I'll go check out the VR. And when they go and put on these like, you know, trash headsets, for lack of a better way of putting it, they think that VR is still where it was 6-7 years ago, you know?
There's a lot of garbagey stuff, but I will tell you that I think we have been, you know, the two of us have been pretty spoiled by past CESs. So CES is the Consumer Electronics Show, for anyone out there that doesn't know, and its main objective is to really show off brand new tech that may or may not be coming to the general populace. You see an insane amount of things that you will never see released, concept cars, all kinds of concept things, companies looking for investors on things, right? So we were around in at these shows where a lot of headsets were being released for the first time, and you know, consumers didn't really have you know, for example, PlayStation VR 2, we got to play with that there well before it was released, right? And so Sony was showing off that new tech that it was not yet released. So this year it just happened that really everything was already out for its cycle, right? Our current generation of VR, everything's unveiled, everything's out there. There wasn't really anything out there, but I will tell you that where I was impressed was if you walked around, there was just a lot of random headsets everywhere, and it wasn't necessarily VR companies. It was all different kinds of companies that were showing off their thing in VR, whether it be, you know, a way for them to show off something,
some construction site thing or
I remember even 2 years ago, like that security company, crap, I can't remember even what it's called now, but they had like a telepresence robot that you could control from a VR headset when someone broke into your house. You could like hit the button, like, you know, things came down in your room to protect you, and then you can get out there with the robot. And, like, yeah, it was absolutely nutty. But that stuff was all like set up with like quests and stuff, right? So it's really interesting to see all that. And it is pretty amazing just to see the size of an expo like that. You know, this is
huge.
It is so big. It's like multiple convention halls in multiple buildings, in multiple hotels, and like it is just. I think they said it's like 14 or 16 miles of expo or something.
It's ridiculous how big it is.
It's pretty wild. In Vegas, right? Vegas. I mean,
but you've been to the States now, Naysy, a handful of times in the recent couple of years. You know, you've been out for like a Meta event, and then you did CES with us, and I think you were there for Connect, which is also happening. Are you like addicted now? Like, are you going to keep coming to like all the stuff?
I think the biggest part, like what I got addicted to, is just like hanging out with everyone and getting to like meet you guys. Because I think like you always chat to people online, but meeting people in person and hanging out, and like especially with people who have shared interests, it's like it's so good. And because like I think people don't realize, like being a content creator or like YouTuber, there's a lot of time like just alone in your office, like editing or filming or whatever. So it's just like it's so good to like hang out with people who do similar things.
Hell yeah! You still edit all of your content?
All the way to America for it.
you still edit all of your content?
Yeah, I tried editors, but it's like I like kind of editing stuff myself. I'm really slow at it, but I enjoy it.
Nice. It's like you still, even though this is like obviously become like a way of life and you know your job, you still are like finding the expression in the experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think like I have felt like the pressure kind of lately. You're like, gotta upscale, gotta have a team and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of dabbled in it, and it's like, it's just not me. Like it becomes too much like a business then. It's like, I really like the creative kind of side of being a content creator. And the more it becomes a business, the more it takes away from that. For me, at least, it's just like, I like the journey. I like kind of trying different things, and
like do you have like you know like like a life partner or like a roommate or somebody else that could like give you like an extra pair of hands when you need it, that kind of thing?
No, really. I like doing everything. I like learning like how to use cameras and how to get better at editing. Like I like the journey of trying to upskill in different areas.
Hell yeah.
I think content creation is an art. Right. It's like anything else. It's like making a painting. It's going out there, you know, photography, videography. It's all an art form. And a lot of times, can you imagine if Van Gogh or someone said, hey, you know, I just get commissioned too many art pieces. You know, dude, you come over here and just paint this one part for me. You know what I mean? Like losing that creative expression and losing that part of your art and your passion can sometimes kind of just exactly make it feel like a business. Yeah. And it's just not like, it's not the same. So being able to express yourself through your art, I think is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I don't like editing, but I really do like having that creative control. You know, like I just don't like how long it takes. Like to your point, like God, is it time consuming? The last video I edited took me like 16 hours. You know, like damn, it's a lot.
Yeah. But I think when it does well as well, it's like more of a reward. It's like, it's like I did that. Whereas like an editor did it, it's just like, I don't know, it feels so disconnected. I get like so emotionally connected to my videos. And it's like, I feel like with this industry, there's always that pressure. It's like, gotta upload like super regularly, and like same with short form. It's like I feel that pressure. It's like, gotta be quicker. But at the same time, I'm like, I'd rather just enjoy the journey than kind of just, be uploading all the time. And because I've been doing this a long time, and like, you can, chasing views all the time, it gets exhausting. And I'm like, I just want to enjoy the journey.
Amen. That's the way to do it, you know. And if like you can just stay in that mindset, like you will grow, you know, like you're gonna grow. Like you will have videos that do better, you'll have videos that do worse, but like you know, you have like over 700,000 subs on YouTube. Like that is so impressive. Like that's amazing, you know. Like I hope you're proud of that, because that is a difficult feat.
I think like sometimes you forget, and then you go back and watch an old video and you're like, or you can see like how you've gotten better and stuff like that, or you get like inspired to like, I remember doing that, like let's revisit that old stuff. So I think like being a content creator, you need like resilience, because there are so many ups and so many downs, like, and sometimes it's hard to like get back on the horse. But I think yeah, keeping with it is the hard part.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate how like you. Like I've said earlier, like it's obvious that you aren't just like a Beat Saber player, you know, like you love VR and you do what works, right? Like your Beat Saber content, you have some Beat Saber videos that just have millions of views, you know, and like you're obviously going to continue to like run that formula if it's going to continue to like bring you that kind of engagement, but you're also not scared to like do what you want and like have fun with the tech and do some cool stuff, you know, like you're constantly wearing haptic vests and trackers and you're in treadmills and you're like doing all like this like cool cutting edge technology stuff, and maybe it doesn't garnish millions and millions of views like you know, some of these song challenges videos and stuff that you've done, but I really appreciate how it's apparent to me that that is your path. Like you're like, no, I'm not going to worry too much about how well this is doing because I think this is cool. I want to make the content I want to make, and it's awesome, you know. And like we got Backsorn here in the chat dropping $5 saying, speaking of Behaptics versus OWO, which is more fun. Right. And also shout out Beyond Frames for joining the Between Realities membership crew as well here. But
heck yeah.
That one might be fun, you know, if you want to talk about some haptic vests for a minute, you know, because I don't know, people who've never done the OWO, it can be very hard to like actually convey what that experience is like.
Yeah, like I don't recommend the OWO.
No,
like,
me either.
I worry about the health factors as well, because there's no studies, and someone pointed out like because you have like it has these electrodes that are like stick onto your body, and when it's like here, that's quite close to your heart, so if you have heart problems or something, and you can have heart problems you don't know, it's like we don't know how that's going to affect people, we don't know the long-term effects. So it's like why I love it for the content. It's like, oh, I don't know.
So for the content, duh, like it's a no-brainer as far as content is concerned, because it's just insane. It's such a crazy thing. You know, people have tried to emulate things like this, and nothing quite has the same effect. But like, let's talk about the experience of it for a second, because like it is not pleasurable at all. It's not. It's barely fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Would you say it's fun?
No, like I have fun creating that torture for like my viewers. Like I'm glad they get to enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it.
It legitimately hurts people. Like,
yeah, it's no good. It's you know, it's kind of almost like if you go out and play paintball without the proper padding. Right? It's not good getting hit. It is no fun. On the other side, it does help you really up your game. You don't want to get hit, and you are going to try everything you can to be better at that game. Dude. Because getting pegged is no fun whatsoever.
And this is why, in my opinion, this is not a gaming device. This is a training device. It is an opportunity to introduce negative reinforcement into a virtual reality training experience. Like, because like you said, it gets real, dude. When you're wearing that vest, everything is real as hell, and you do not want to take damage. You are way more aware of the opportunities for you to take damage when you are wearing a vest that actually shocks you and really, really hurts like that. But as a gamer, I don't think it's ever appropriate to have that experience. Like, I don't want that at all.
I don't either.
But if I'm trying to teach you to do something that will potentially like save your life or save us like millions of dollars if you make a mistake and, you know, miscalibrate something, or, you know, you're working on an oil rig and, you know, this lever to the left means certain death for everybody on there. Like when you're wearing that vest and you turn the thing to the left and it like hurts really bad, like there is an opportunity for negative reinforcement there. So I don't know. I say for like enterprise or like DoD training or something like that, it really does like maybe legitimately have a place. But in games, I cannot not recommend it enough.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I want to take a second to call out Tribe Greywolf in the chat asked if Naysy has ever been in Resonite, which Resonite is from is the newer software from the people who originally created Neos.
Oh, no, I haven't. Is it like a VR chat kind of thing?
It's kind of like VR chat, but imagine that if you're in VR chat and you're like, oh man, look at this thing. Why doesn't this thing do this? I wish I could fix it real quick without exporting it to Unity and then doing a whole bunch of stuff and re-importing it. You can like literally click it with a tool, go in there, add drivers, like add textures to it, like, you know, make anything do anything and build collaboratively with friends, all without ever taking the headset off. It is literally the closest thing I think to Ready Player One's Oasis.
That's cool.
But
confession though, I've never played VR chat, so
really no VR chat either.
Yeah, those social games scare me. So I've never really played them.
Wow. So, wow, that's interesting. So you do know you can hop into any of these and like open sessions only to your friends too, right? Like I do like being social, but for the most part, where we're in a world where kids are like running rampant in all the free experiences, I only travel in those things in private sessions only with my friends. And that is a way safer way to actually go in and have fun and not have to worry about some kid, like, you know, a little kid like screaming profanities at you, or just like, you know, people get weird. So
what about like Rec Room?
Yeah, I've checked out that one a couple of times.
But you're under 5 hours total of like VR social apps.
Yeah, so the thing is, right, like I'm quite introverted. So like going into a game and like just going up to people to socialize is like terrifying. That's like going to a party when you don't know anyone in my mind. So it's just like,
dude, so
scared.
So for the record, like I agree with you. Like, I'm not going into VR chat and entering public spaces. I'm not going into Rec Room and entering public spaces.
Yep, me
I'm
neither.
not doing that in any of these things. The only time I ever go into these is when I have plans to meet people that I already know.
Yep.
And the thing that like makes Resonite is so cool is that, like, because in VR chat, you know, you can import avatars, you can import assets, you can import 3D models of stuff, you know, and like maybe I have a dope ass 3D model of a dragon and I like want to bring it into my room in VR chat, and then somebody comes in, they're like, oh, but wouldn't that be cool if you could ride that dragon?
Yeah, but even to import that stuff, you have to like have a lot of knowledge on how to connect Unity up to the API of VR chat, how to properly bring things in. Like, you have to have knowledge, and you also have to have enough hours on your account to become a trusted VR chat account to where they even allow you to do that.
Yeah.
Right? In Resonite, you literally drag and drop your thing on top of the window, or you go into the file browser in game and you just click on it.
We got to take her in there. Like, you got to come with us in there sometime. Like, it will blow your mind. And like,
it shows the potential of where the tech can go, I think, more than almost anything else. Right? Like for me, I went in there and I said, like, it wasn't just a place to hang out. All of a sudden I saw the future of education, the future of medical and training, the future of like everything. It was absolutely wild to me. Like, my brain just opened, and then I fell in love with VR even more than I ever had before, because now I saw this path forward for all of these things, removing space and time between people all over the world and being able to like do things that you could only imagine in your mind, but now you can do them collaboratively with other people. You can go in there, you know, if you were a little kid, imagine being in elementary school or something, instead of opening a book and learning about like how the internals of a shark work, like you can literally just go in and like ride a little ship through its like veins or something. You know what I mean? It's like, it just blows my mind all the time.
It is great.
Just the overall potential of extended reality and virtual reality and augmented reality. It's just absolutely nuts.
We should take you in there and you should record it. Because I wouldn't be surprised if like your reaction would make for some really awesome content.
Okay.
For sure.
Right. I'll try to check it out.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Let's see. Jenna Sequoia is here.
Hey, what's up,
Dradhawk is in the house as well. Philozy is also here. I wonder if that's the right way to say it. Philo? Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Random Toxie, the GT driving hell sweeping game cat. Man, I feel like I need a game cat persona.
I know, man. The game cats know what's up.
They really do. They really do. Yeah, thank you guys all for being here. Also, shout out to Beat Saberita. I've been following you on Instagram for a long time. It's amazing to see you in a live chat for Between Realities. Thanks for being here.
And speaking of Beat Saber stuff, so I have a personal question for you, Naysy, because you've been doing this for a long time, and you make some of the most viewed and some of the best and high quality Beat Saber gameplay footage available out there, right? I would imagine that it would be really hard to rack up all those views and to really do this thing that you love and always have to worry about copyright issues with a lot of these songs. Like, how does that really take away from a lot of it for you? Do you worried about getting your channel, like, you know, deleted? Or as far as copyright stuff, how does that work out for you in playing Beat Saber and rhythm-based games a lot?
Yeah, I think yeah, it's complicated, I guess. Every time you upload like a Beat Saber video to YouTube, like, you can, most of the time it gets copyright claimed, but sometimes you can get a copyright strike, and if you get 3 in like a certain time frame, you get your channel deleted. And that's always scary. Like, same with Twitch. Like, Twitch, because I stream a lot on Twitch, like, you can get copyright strikes there, and then you get your channel deleted pretty much straight away. So it is something that is scary, and I go through phases where I'm like, oh my god, I'm terrified, this is scary, and other phases where I'm just like, if I get deleted, oh well, at least I'm doing something I love and whatever. But I did delete majority of the Beat Saber videos on my YouTube channel, which is really sad because they were kind of blocking additional features on my channel because I had too many copyright claims, and like, a music company could just come along and just strike you at any time. So I'm just like, I really don't want to take that risk.
It's pretty terrifying
anymore. Yeah.
Because this is your, you don't have like a, do you have a, like a quote unquote day job, or is this it? Because if you're making your living off of content creation, just, you know, leaving it to chance must be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, like, yeah, I do this like, full time. So yeah, it is scary when like your channel and everything is in the hands of the music companies, and I get mad sometimes because, you know, like, I think TikTok's really changed it because they can see TikTokers and content creators can like make a song go viral, and there's kind of like that more symbiotic relationship now, but they're still like so archaic with these copyright claim systems and strikes. And yeah, it's a bit better. Like on YouTube Shorts, you can like monetize music now. But yeah, I think it's less strict than what it is, but I don't know, it's still scary.
Yeah, I'll never forget this Twitch live stream when they had Metallica play, like, live.
Yeah.
It was like TwitchCon, and they had Metallica play, and Twitch's own stream muted themselves while Metallica was playing. They got Metallica to play their TwitchCon live stream, and then that platform muted it.
Shut itself down.
It did. Yeah, and it's just like the most hilarious, like, cut off your nose to spite your face kind of thing ever. And it just like goes to show like how messed up this is. Like, not even Twitch themselves can like let some of this stuff slip through the cracks sometimes, which is just hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like we really need some updating on a lot of these laws. We are not back in the 70s. You know what I mean? We are in a completely different age of information technology and the free flow of information on the internet. And we just need some more up-to-date current laws on a lot of these things. It's mind-blowing to me that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. And I think, like, especially Beat Saber, I like to think it's like transformational. It's not like I'm just uploading the music trying to like steal the money from like the video views or anything.
Right.
Like even if I I don't even want to make money from my Beat Saber videos. I'm like, I just don't want to be striked. Like, I don't want to, because it's like, they can sue you if they want. They probably wouldn't, but that's terrifying as well.
That is so messed up. That's stupid. So like, what about like Beat Games? Like, does Beat Games just love you? Do you have like a great relationship with them? Are they like hooking you up with stuff? Like, do they like make sure you're taken care of? Like, what's your relationship like with them?
Yeah, we have a decent relationship. I don't talk to them too much because I think, you know, like, people change in businesses and stuff like that. But they'll send me like game cards, or if they have anything cool, like they sent me the Beat Saber sweater and stuff like that. And I guess if I ever need anything, I can like reach out to them. But yeah, I guess the goal would be to like be in a Beat Saber trailer or something for a music pack. That'll be sweet.
Oh,
so maybe
we gotta make that happen. I feel like that's just like one email away. Like,
yeah, maybe.
that's so ripe and ready for the taking.
So yeah,
I think it's like ever since Meta kind of took over, I think maybe a bit more restricted. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see one day.
Are you jealous, Alex? I feel your vibe when she mentioned that Beat Saber sweater. I know that's something you've always
How did you know?
wanted.
Yeah, you had an extra one of those sweaters laying around.
I think they still have some. They're doing like a little giveaway thing.
Naysy.
But the sad thing is, what?
If you get me that sweater, I'll do whatever. All right, I'll reach into my collection. I'll pull something badass out. Like we can make an exchange or a deal of some kind.
Yeah. Okay.
I need that.
It's Alex's like most wanted thing.
I want that sweater so bad. Yeah.
But yeah, in Australia, like it barely gets cold enough to wear it, so I feel bad I don't wear it more.
Well, I mean, I live in Arizona, and it gets hot here also. But don't feel bad. Keep that thing forever.
I call Arizona mini Australia.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very, very close. It's the one state we have that everything living besides the people want to kill you. Well, kind of the people too. Every bug is deadly. It's hot as all hell. So it's definitely mini Australia here.
Indeed it is.
Yeah.
Dude, also the platypus, just throwing it out there, it's like the coolest animal ever. That's an Australian thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Platypi?
I think they're endangered. Yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're a duck-billed, egg-laying mammal with a poison venomous stinger.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I know. It's
Holy
like
cow.
nature's like amalgamation. It's super, super good. Wow. Random Toxie, the GT Drive and Hell Sweep and Game Cat says, amazingly, I've never played Beat Saber. God.
Wow,
dude,
that's like having Nintendo and never playing Mario.
Dude, legitimate.
Yeah,
like legit. In my opinion, and I even had the opportunity to say this to the developer of Beat Saber at OC6. In my opinion, Beat Saber defines Generation 1 virtual reality gaming. Like it literally is the Mario of its generation. Like it is the quintessential must-play standard baseline virtual reality experience. And if you disagree, you might be wrong.
Because I mean, everyone loves music. It is a game that does not induce motion sickness because you, the player, are not moving. Only things in your environment are moving. Right? It's super fun. Who doesn't love lightsabers?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, the colors are gorgeous. Everything about that game just appeals to so many different types of players and so many different types of people. And when you go in and you put someone through like the Beat Saber tutorial, for example, people understand it. It clicks. They're instantly playing the game and they're pretty much hooked almost every single time. So yeah, it is definitely one of the quintessential VR games that everyone should play.
Is it like, do you have an opportunity to show people virtual reality very often, Naysy? And is it Beat Saber? Like, do you put people into Beat Saber basically?
Yeah, like mostly like I got my mom into Beat Saber. Like she plays Beat Saber. Yeah, it's definitely one I like to show people. But I think that's like I always feel like it's a mission in a way. Like I love showing Beat Saber because I feel like it is like a VR seller in a way. So I love introducing people to VR through Beat Saber. And I think like a few years ago, that was like why my videos went so viral, because there's people like, what is this? Like people didn't understand VR. I think it's a bit more known now. But yeah, I love being able to help introduce people to VR through those like Beat Saber videos.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I think lots of people say like, oh, Naysy, I got a VR headset because of you, which is like super cool.
There's there's a young lady in my family, who when I was asking her about this, she must have been like, I don't know, 9 or 10, something like that. But I found out that she played Beat Saber, and I was like, oh, you play Beat Saber? That's so awesome. She's like, yeah, I'm pretty good at it, whatever. And I was like, well, that's pretty sweet. Do you like watch it on YouTube? Like, do you know anybody? And she's like, yeah, I watch Naysy. And I was like, that's really awesome. And that was like 2 or 3 years ago that happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah,
like,
that's
like
sweet.
I was expecting, like this is like at a time where it's still kind of like weird and exciting when somebody else even knows VR. But she like knew you by name. She was like a fan of yours, and I was like, dude, that's so cool. I like kind of know her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. But like what like what's been exciting you in VR lately? Like obviously, Beat Saber's amazing, and I will fight people who say that game isn't to this day a fantastic experience. It to me, it's like playing an instrument or like practicing a martial art. Like it's always good. Like people don't get sick of playing guitar, like they become guitar players, they continue to do it forever. That's how I feel about Beat Saber. But but what has been making you excited lately? Like what's the best VR game you've played in like the past year?
I really enjoyed Max Mustard. I need to play more. It's really cool. Yeah. And it's Queensland, like they live in the same state as me. And I know some of the guys that work on it, so it's like, yeah, Axmaster is cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I go through phases though. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't want Beat Saber. I need a break. Let's check out other stuff. But I'm currently in like a Beat Saber phase where I'm like, I just want to play Beat Saber every day.
Hell yeah.
So I'm currently one of those phases. But I did really wanted to like jump into Fallout with like the TV show coming out and like do the treadmill, do the haptic vest. And I think someone made an AI mod and I'm like, I really want to jump down that rabbit hole.
That first hour of Fallout 4 VR is like one of my most memorable VR experiences. Like, and I only played it for like a couple of days. And I think it was when I was making like Haptics content for it. So I like only got like as far as I needed to get as much footage as I needed to like make the video. But that first hour or so, like when you're like playing through the intro in virtual reality was so awesome. Like it's really memorable. Like I can still see those scenes. And if you've never played Fallout 4, I'm not going to tell you what happens in the first hour. You should just go try that because it is really, really cool. And I guess never been a better time with all this TV show stuff happening.
I'm so stoked to get back into that game. I didn't play it nearly as much, and it wasn't because I didn't enjoy it. It was literally just because so many things are happening. It's a really long, in-depth game, but it's an amazing world, and now that the show is out too, it has re-sparked me being, you know, wanting to get back in there. And I know Genghis has been showing off some things with the AI mods and stuff, right? Being able to kind of hook artificial intelligence up to some of the NPCs and just make the experience even better. Plus with, you know, like you said, Haptics, some of the mods, you know, with like the fans being able to turn on and off and simulate wind, and like, man, what a cool thing. I really need to get back into that game. It's just so rad.
So with all of the stuff that you have, like, you know, haptic vests, treadmills, full body trackers, you know, extra like controller peripherals, you know, all that kind of stuff, like what in your opinion, like just like is like the one that you really love to use? Like what like extra thing that like sometimes people have and sometimes people don't have, do you think like really makes a difference in your gaming experience?
I mean, I really love just the Haptics vest. Like I think it's just there's that like friction element as well. Like it's just easy to put on and then like load into a game. Yeah. Like I think that's really important, and it's like comfortable. Like it doesn't affect like my experience. Whereas like things like the treadmills and the feet trackers, it's just like there's a whole lot of like setup and like
I don't think people realize how like off-putting all of that setup can be as a creator. You know, like it's one thing to like strap all this stuff on and like just jump into a game and start experiencing stuff, but it's another to be doing all of that and like positioning yourself in front of a camera properly and making sure your lighting's good and starting your stream while you're like got all these things hanging
and
off
all the
of
effects overlays and showing people what's happening in the vest and things like that.
It is a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah, especially the treadmill. Like when I was first like filming a bunch of content on it, like you'd hop in, strap yourself in. It's like, okay, let's play. And it's like, something's not working properly. Okay, gotta unstrap myself, go like fix it on my computer. So like, yeah, stuff like that.
That's a nightmare.
But I do want to make more treadmill content, but it's like, it's exhausting. Like,
it's kind of like the OWO vest, you know? It's like, as a gamer, like that thing sounds really cool. You think you want it, but then you're like actually playing a game and you realize how uncomfortable you are. Yeah. You know,
unless you're J-Bar for some reason, that guy won't play anything without his treadmill. He really is. That's really wild. I would love to be able to just get into that and have my gaming be fitness too. You know, and keep me in shape.
Not a game anymore.
Yeah.
There's a few people on like social media at the moment tracking like the, you know, doing VR treadmill for fitness and stuff like that, and I'm like, that sounds cool, but I think I'd rather go to the gym than like do the treadmill every day. Like
I'm right there with you.
It is exhausting.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
It's pretty hardcore. And for me too, like it's never there's no one has nailed a treadmill being one-to-one to walking. Yeah. So it's like someone saying, well, you just got to relearn to walk. Like, I don't want to relearn to walk. I've been doing it my whole life and I'm pretty good at it. Right now you gotta like push on it. There's all this weird friction. You can't
you're leaning your waist into that bar, you know, kind of pushing against it.
That hurts as well. Because I've tried to like do a haptic vest and the treadmill, and that's hard. But yeah, we need those like Disney, the things Disney showed.
Yeah, the thing you put on the floor and it's all these little ball things. And
people are gonna be on their asses, bro. Like people are gonna be falling over left and right trying to move around on that stuff. I guarantee it. Like you trying to move on that, you're gonna be toppling.
Yeah, I would love to see someone really just nail it.
Yeah,
you know, locomotion is, you know, one of the biggest gripes about VR because it also makes people motion sick. Artificial movement is one of the biggest deterrents of people ever getting into the tech at all. And if we could find a way to make it natural and have your body understand what's happening and not make you sick, that could be everything. We all know how to walk, right? But like it's also intuitive until you get on a treadmill. It's not intuitive.
I just don't know if I actually want to. Like I like, you know, using a thumbstick.
Yeah, like I'm kind of the same in a way, but yeah, I get the like motion sickness thing. Like I feel really bad. Like I have friends just like, oh, try VR, and they're like, not like just makes me so sick, and I'm like, oh, that makes me so sad.
Yeah,
but
that's because somebody messed them up.
Yeah, and that always bums me out when people associate the thing that I love the most in the world, besides my daughter, but with being sick, right? Like how much of a bummer is that? You're like, this is the best thing ever. I've changed my entire life because of how much I love this technology. And they're like, it makes me want to barf. You're like, oh man, come on. Like, how do you think we get around that? Do you see a future where this is no longer a thing? Is it frame rate? Is it field of view? Is it movement systems? Do you see a path forward here where their motion sickness is just completely gone?
I think frame rate, like I know if I play, I'm okay, but if the game's frame rate is like off, then I'm like, oh, sorry, I get nauseous. But like I've like researched this a bit. Like apparently you can like chew gum, that can help motion sickness. But I went on a cruise recently, and a lot of people had these like wristbands that push on like a pressure point thing, which can help with like sickness. I'm like, maybe we just need arm straps like that for VR.
VR with Jasmine made some of those and was like distributing them for a while. Yeah, they were, like,
no way.
Wristbands with like a little like white, like I don't know, it almost looks like a shopping tag or something on it.
Yeah,
that goes in there.
There's definitely things. A fan is such a big deal. If you put someone in a fan, it can definitely at least offset some of the motion sickness as well. Things like ginger and things like that.
Well,
right?
You know, when you were like, hey, like what other thing in the world like do people love that people associate with sickness? And my brain went to alcohol, and I feel like. There's a good analogy here. You know, like a lot of people who have had VR experiences, it's like having an alcohol experience, but they didn't have like a nice cocktail or two. They had like a glass full of vodka. Of 5 o'clock vodka with no ice or mixer, and they like were, you know, forced to chug it in the middle of a mall kiosk somewhere. You know? Yeah, and it's like, yeah, of course that made you sick because you had a low quality headset running a low quality piece of software on some piece of crap in the middle of a mall, and you got sick because now you're on a roller coaster thinking that you're okay. And it's like, dude, no, like you should have like a wine cooler first, you know, like something that's like soft and like tastes good and isn't going to make you sick.
But unfortunately, the general public is typically the people that are demoing VR to new people all the time.
I know.
And they're just laughing. They're like, here, put on this roller coaster. And they think it's so funny. Or they put people in Richie's plank and then they push him off the plank and like they hurt people. And like people just think that stuff is funny. And then that whole experience is just completely ruined for them. And it's really, really hard to get those people back.
Yeah.
You know? Oh man,
it takes a while, but I do think that we're, you know, like VR is reaching a mainstream level where at some point these people will have no choice but to have another experience. You know, like eventually it's like, you know, Quest 4, Quest 5 rolls around, they're at their kid's house or their grandkid's house and they're like, no, put this on, and they'll be like, fine, and then they will and they'll realize that they don't get sick from it, you know. But
I think growing up with it is the ultimate. If you grow up with it from a kid, you know, you're just not going to have motion sickness from it anymore. Your brain from a very early age will understand what's happening and kind of build it into what you know is true in life. You know, it won't mess you up as you grow up experiencing these things. And the next generation will be the VR generation.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, one thing I was going to say, like, I think what's great about VR is that I think it's like it tracks to all generations. Like, you don't, like my mom, like the fact that she plays VR, like I would never get her like playing a gaming console or like a PC game, but she'll like play VR kind of stuff. I know a lot of older people do. And then there's like younger generations as well. Definitely younger generations, like the future of VR. Like I've seen my audience over time get like younger and younger. And I think, yeah, they're the ones who are really engaged with the VR stuff now. And they're the ones who are like really into the modding and really into trying out all the free games, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head. You know, like my dad also, I couldn't get him to play games with me growing up. But then once he tried Beat Saber, he was like, oh, wait a second. Maybe I like this, you know, and now we can play VR games together, you know.
Yeah, and the fitness games and the social games and like walkabout mini golf is like, because I think as well, like anything with an analog stick, like my mom's like, nah, but like things like mini golf, it's like, oh, it's just golf. So I think, that's a big part of like getting that generation into VR as well. Kenzie
Gaming VR flying in from the chat. You might remember him from the last episode of Between Realities that we did. He has dropped 10 amazing American greenback dollars in the chat.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Oh, wrong button.
There you go.
There you go.
He says, Naysy, Skiva, and Alex, VR legends. You're
thanks,
right,
buddy.
That's
Thank
true.
You so much.
You know, what can we say? What can we say? You know, legends up in here. Our chat is legends constantly.
Dude, for real. We have an amazing community.
We do. You know, Hussein X Arcane. Yeah.
Can I say, like, I was like on the fence about trying YouTube streaming, and then like I saw like one of your streams, and I'm like, oh, you guys have such an engaged community, and I'm like, oh, maybe there is like an engaged kind of like VR community on YouTube. I should give it a go. And yeah, that's when I started streaming on YouTube as well.
Well, you heard it here first, everybody. Naysy is on YouTube because of Between Realities.
Streaming on YouTube.
She's streaming on YouTube because of Between Realities.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's a fact. And I'm taking it to the grave with me. I'll never forget this.
Oh, thanks. That's so cool. Right on.
That is cool.
That's awesome to hear.
You know, and it's not just our community, man. Like, honestly, like the VR community on YouTube as a whole is just fantastic. Like, we get to do the Crewcast on Mondays, hosted by Gamertag VR, but also Virtual Strangers are on that show. Eric from Q2C is also on that show.
Sadly, it's
Bradley is on that show. And like, we see similar names as the ones in the chat here for that show, but also completely different ones. And like, there's always people just like joining the memberships, contributing with super chats. You know, you got MickeyBerr in here dropping game codes for everybody to just like pluck out and drop them into their Steam. And it's just like the vibes.
It's the most family-like community I've ever experienced.
The vibes are on point.
You know, they really are.
They're on point.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and you know, I'm really glad that you're like such a big part of it, Naysy. You know, like I was saying, it's like, you know, you have used Beat Saber content as a way to like really help push VR forward, but it doesn't stop there with you. You know, like there are a lot of content creators out there who just kind of make the content. You know, they make the videos and they collect their views, they collect their paycheck, and then they like go back to their normal life or whatever. But like, we're seeing you at CES and all these other in-person events, you know, and maybe AWE next month. You know?
Oh, maybe.
Come to AWE. You have to come because it's so much fun.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm curious too. I know I saw some content a few months ago now of you with, you know, just mocking and pretending with the Apple Vision Pro stuff, which is pretty funny stuff. Have you gotten a chance to actually play with it yet? Do you have one yet?
No, I haven't. But Falcon, got one. So we're trying to work out, I'll like go to his house or something and test it out. So yeah, I'm keen to try it. But yeah, in case like people didn't see it, I bought some like ski goggles and I was like pretending they were Apple Vision Pro, and a lot of people didn't get it. They're like, oh, you're got an Apple Vision Pro, and I'm like, no, it's not. It was fun content. Yeah.
I appreciate that you kept it dry too. Like you could have made it a little more obvious that was actually not an Apple Vision Pro, but like I thought it was really well executed. So
clever. It was good. What do you think about the Apple Vision Pro coming out as far as it getting more people's eyes on VR? And do you think ultimately it has helped VR, or seeing all these Apple Vision Pros on the shelves now, do you think it's been more harmful than good?
Definitely good. Like, yeah, it gets people interested in VR. And I think like as like a VR nerd, you get frustrated because people are like, whoa, I can like work in VR. It's like you can do that already. And like I can watch movies in VR. It's like you can do that already. So it's like people act like you know, Apple invented the wheel with VR kind of thing. It's like, no, it's like you can do this stuff for a long time. So I think hopefully people go, oh, this is interesting, but I don't want to spend that money. What else is available? Oh, there's the MetaQuest. So I think hopefully we'll see that kind of trajectory.
Yeah, rising tides raise all ships, which is a great thing. And, you know, you see a lot of people in their Vision Pros watching movies alone. And you know, the point of VR is not to be alone. It's to be able to experience things together in a much, you know, just a much more personal way. Like when I look over and see Alex there and we're experiencing a game together, you know, that's so much different than just sitting on the couch a lot of times and playing and just hearing their voice in your ear, you know. And then just, you know, so sometimes I get a little concerned with the initial Vision Pro, people watching movies alone and doing a lot of things alone, when we're all in big screen, like watching stuff together. All of our friends are piled in there, we're watching shows, we're streaming things on our computer, and it's like, this can be a social experience.
But now that you've seen those personas, you gotta be singing a different tune.
Oh no, well,
like,
but
those are insane.
Yes, no, and I don't think it's going to be like that forever. I do think that they need to enable in their ecosystem ways for everyone to get together and to do these things together, to be able to stream a movie and to watch it with your friends without hitting the play button at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like there has to be, like, we have to show the world that VR is not something isolating, that it's something that can bring the world together as well, and that you can do these things with, you know, family that you have to spend thousands of dollars to get on an airplane to go hang out with them for a couple days. Now you can like spend time with these people and feel like you're actually connecting with them on a totally different level than getting on the phone with them.
I legit want an Apple Vision Pro after seeing all of everybody's spatial persona videos. That blew my mind. Have you seen those, Naysy?
I think they're terrifying.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't like them. I think they're weird.
Oh, so you think they're like they are not like real looking enough.
Uncanny Valley.
It's uncanny.
Kinda.
It's kind of
creepy.
creepy.
Uncanny Valley. Yeah, and I feel like it highlights like between the Quest and the Apple Vision Pro, it's highlighted two big issues that like I feel like VR is struggling to fix. It's just like comfort, because they both seem to have comfort issues, and like avatars. Like Meta's avatars suck. I don't like the Apple ones either. But I feel like people don't want to look like themselves in VR. They want to look like a fairy or whatever. Like, I think, that should be explored a bit more.
I think both are incredibly important, because like when I'm like, if you're hanging out with family, like, or someone who you love or someone who you care about or whatever, like I've met with people in my Quest, you know, and like used my Meta avatar to hang out, and like it works, but it's not like seeing the face of that person, you know. And like, dude, I was blown away by those spatial personas. Like they look so much like the real person compared to everything else that has ever existed.
Well, and I think the key here too is that this is the worst that it will ever be, right? We've seen Mark Zuckerberg show off their high-end avatars, you know, doing the Lex Friedman podcast and things like that, and really show off what's really possible here. And even that is the worst that it'll ever be. This is going to get better and better and better and better until like there's almost no difference. And then when that's the case, you'll be able to connect with those people in a level that's just not possible unless you're face to face with them. At the same time, being able to switch over to a fairy, or like, you know, your favorite video game character, or whatever the case may be, however you decide to express yourself as your own avatar, is also very important. So I think the key here is in both, and I can't wait to see where this is going to be in like 10 years. Can you imagine if we're this close now? I feel like using like different AI algorithms and in different ways of generating, you know, parts that the camera can't see, we're gonna get to a point where it's almost identical, and that's very exciting. I think that's pretty rad, and I think we're gonna be pretty blown away here in the not too distant future. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Arcanian in the chat said, I tried sharing a Disney Plus movie with a friend, and I'm assuming in the AVP, and the menu worked, but when I clicked play, they got a pop-up to subscribe. It's a shame that they don't give you one movie for free as a taster.
Oh man, so that's not how it is in things like big screen, right? And I know it's very, very different, and big screen has a lot of issues too. I've screamed about it a lot. But, you know, being able to sit together with people and share these experiences is mission critical to selling this technology to the masses. You know, being able to sell this as a social experience as well as gaming, as well as education, as well as all of these things is how this is going to take off, and how people are going to really understand the value on what this technology brings. So
yeah, you know, and like
we'll get there.
And I really appreciate like Snow Toad and Michelle B in the chat right now saying like, I want to be anything I can be. Why would I want to be my real life self in VR? You know, like I don't want to have a real life version of my own avatar. Like I definitely understand that, but that again, it needs to be both, because why is because like maybe it's like someone who, you know, like maybe it's like your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad, like somebody who you haven't seen in a long time, and like you want to actually see them, like you want to share presence with them, you know, or maybe you have a long distance relationship and like you don't get to see each other very often, and like having those avatars that are more like seeing the actual person makes you feel closer to them than an avatar would, you know what I mean? It would be great to be able to hit a button and be like, guess what? No, I'm not the real me today, you know, and I can be whatever, you know, I've decided my persona will look like. But I think it needs to be both. I don't think we can. I don't think we can leave one or the other behind. I think both need to be present.
Yep, 100%, man. I agree with you there, and we'll get there. There's no future I see going forward where both of these things are not, you know, in the up and coming and getting better, and like we're just not going to leave one behind and go only with one of these solutions. So
right. So I'm going to start to kind of wrap this up a little bit. But, you know, since we're like kind of talking about the future and, you know, the potential of all of this technology, I want to ask Naysy before we start to wrap this stuff up, like, what do you think is the ultimate potential of this technology? You know, like obviously we're all gamers, that's why we've gotten into this, we love playing games, but right now we're talking about using it to educate, or you know, using it to connect with each other. Like, you know, if 10 years down the road, like what do you really think people will be using VR for? You know, where are we going with this?
I think like, you know, the normal, like, you know, increase graphics and processing and blah, 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 and comfort. I'm a better comfort. I'd really like to see like VR headsets that can be used outside more easily. I feel like that could be interesting. But yeah, like I'd like it just more accessible for normies, I guess. Like I just always like, Mom, come on, use the VR. So I'd like to be in a place where, yeah, it's just easier to get different people into VR.
Do you think that VR will like last and stay, or do you think we'll start to see things move more towards like that mixed reality, augmented reality platform?
I think both. I think mixed reality will continue to sell, like make it more mainstream and like accessible to different people. But I think it's like gaming, like PC gaming and stuff, like it never goes away. Like there's always going to be an interest there. Yeah. It'll just be a mixture of everything, like that kind of like stuff that like gets people interested, gets people into VR, and then they're like, okay, what is it else is there? It's like, oh, there's more like games and like PC gaming and that whole thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like the current state of mixed reality, like especially on the Quest 3, is like gives us a look at kind of what we can expect over the next 5 to 10 years. Like I personally don't see fully immersive environments going away, but the second I put the headset on, having only like 10% virtual happening, and then like as I spend more time in the headset, it like gets more and more immersive to the point where I like hit play and now it like takes over, and now I'm in a fully immersive environment. But I love the pass through of the Quest 3. I think it is so nice and so huge for onboarding people and having people be comfortable once they get a headset on, that I don't see that aspect going away at all. I see that being leveraged a lot more, and not so much for the actual games. I think a lot of people think that like mixed reality and augmented reality games are going to be a thing, which I know they will be, but like for me, it's more about like the comfort and ease of use of the devices while leveraging that aspect of the technology than like a little guy jumping on this actual table. That's just my perspective. What do you think, Skiva?
I think that both MR and VR will absolutely, it will never be just one or the other. I think there's a lot of different ways to make a lot of different compelling experiences, and a lot of different ways to mix the two technologies together. I think MR has a very bright future in general use for everyday life. You know, when you're wearing a pair of glasses and you can use it for navigation. If I'm in a a networking event and I look at someone and their name and the company they work for is floating over their head, and I don't have to awkwardly try to be like, oh, what was your name again? You know, things like this. Like, there's a lot of potential for augmented reality and mixed reality that will get there as devices get thinner and smaller and smarter. Right now, we're just at the very beginning. We're just seeing this slight little taste of what this is all about, and this is the worst it'll ever be. It's going to get better, but VR, you know, full immersive environments is also everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
yeah. That's great.
There's room for all of it.
If you could go back and give, you know, a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed Naysy, who is just getting started in her VR content creation journey, a piece of juicy advice, what would it be? What would you say is something that you've really learned that you would help somebody to know if they were starting a journey like yours?
I think it's cliche, but like, just have fun, because there's like so much advice out there. It's so easy to overthink everything, and there's definitely times where I took stuff way too seriously. It's like, just have fun, and that'll hopefully guide your journey forward.
Amen. And I think it's apparent that you're doing that. You know, like, I don't know if you read my description here, but like I was saying, you're like using all of this cutting edge technology and you're presenting it in this really just like bubbly, fun, lighthearted manner, you know, and I can tell that you're having fun. Like, we're watching you in this full body tracking blade and sorcery video, and you're just kicking corpses and just giggling and running around and having a good old time. So, you know, I appreciate that you have taken your own advice there, and personally, I think that's really good advice. You know, for me, it's all about being as authentic as possible. And I feel like that if you're having fun, you know, you're being true to yourself, you're allowing yourself to enjoy the experience, and hopefully everything will just kind of unfold naturally, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm about to kick you off the show, but maybe you can give us just like, you know, a couple more parting words, you know, anything that you want to say before we eject you from your seat.
I guess, I don't know, I love VR. I'm glad I get to share what I'm passionate about with other people who always feel the same. And I think a lot of us have that like feeling of like, you know, we want to share it to drive it further and share the word of VR. And it's exciting times, like, yeah, where the technology's growing, it's getting more popular. I'm excited to share that journey with others.
Why do we all love it so much? We just want to share it. Like, it's just so weird, isn't it?
We've all turned our lives completely in a different direction because of this tech. It's so transformative. It's so amazing. And there's never been anything else where I've wanted to uproot everything that I was doing in order to promote this thing and to show everyone else how awesome something is. I've been excited about it before, but I was never like, oh, cell phones, man, that's it, I'm quitting my job, this is what I do now. You know what I mean? It's really profound when something like this happens, and it only typically happens once in a lifetime, and it's just, man, I'm just so glad to be here. I'm glad Naysy's here to share this with us as well, and you know, same with you, homie.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And Naysy, we really are lucky to have you. You know, like, not everybody out there gets to be like a face of virtual reality, but like, I legitimately think that you have accomplished that. Like, I see you as one of the faces of this technology. Like, you are out there leading the charge, and please keep up the good work. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on our show today. And
thank you guys.
I'm gonna pressure you to come to AWE. So just like start looking at flights or wwhatever.
Yeah.
Right on.
Thanks again, Naysy. You're the best. Everybody join us in saying goodbye. Bye, Naysy. Bye. And she's gone.
She goes.
Man,
that was a fun episode.
That was so great.
It was so nice to be back.
It does. And I mean, what a guest to come back with.
I know.
Naysy, like, I know. The Naysy, you know, it's just 750,000 subs on her way to 1 million, no problem. Just getting her likeness ripped off by VR games.
Well, you know, I'm always happy to see genuinely authentic, amazing, good people succeed in doing what they love.
Amen.
So it's great.
Amen to that. And you know, it's not just our creators, you know, it's our community. Like, everybody 100%. Here who's joining us for these episodes is obviously awesome. They're obviously keeping it real. They're just like us in the way that they want to share this passion with everybody. And it's clear, you know, it's apparent. Everybody in the chat just like constantly weighing in and sharing their love for all this stuff. And man, we just love you guys. And you know, we need to get everybody together, man.
I know,
We do.
for real.
Like,
for real.
we got to stop like leaning on these tech conferences.
I know.
Make this happen.
I know. I liked you mentioned the other day doing like an Arizona VR get together because we keep finding more and more people that are here now. So we should probably do something.
And
like
you know,
that.
we should like, we'll talk about it, but like we can probably do it in a way that won't cost $1 billion. Like it doesn't have to be an actual expo, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean we can just all go out and hang out.
Yeah, or like, you know, rent a space and like maybe like let people just like set up stuff in there, you know? I don't know. We can talk about it. But anyway, it would be so cool to like have a community focused VR meetup. Like not just like tech or business, B2B, like people like us.
People
friends,
first.
Friends.
Yep.
Right. So let's make that happen at some point. Nobody steal our idea because somebody tried already and it didn't work out so well. Just kidding. We love you guys if you hear that. Kensei Gaming, Chimas the Frog, hey man, thanks for coming in. Random Toxie, MickeyBerr, Chrome Colossus, Gaming Austin, YouTube, Duggars K, Beat Saber, Rita, Hussein X, MickeyBerr, maybe said it, I don't know. Arcanian, Mad Vegan, hey, Skiva, you got a vegan friend.
Oh, hey,
Cake VR Dance was up in here earlier. Michelle B, of course, and Snow Toad. We saw Tribe Grey Wolf earlier, getting things done. My boy Jay Dunn, VR Olak, Verolak, yeah, dude, that's cool. Nice to see you in here. Matt Jason was up in here, and you know, we had Todd from Q2C VR Gamer drop the memberships on us earlier. ClassyGrandma hooked it up earlier. Amelia Faust up in here as well. Yeah, all y'all, you know what I mean. We just love you guys, and we thank you for being here for the first episode of Between Realities in an extremely long time. What are we doing next week?
Next week we continue with our content creator season.
Only YouTubers this season.
And we bring over Awaken Toast to join us. It's gonna be a super fun episode, man. I love Awaken Toast. I love his content. He's just a fun dude. So I think that's
if you're unaware of Awaken Toast, you have a week to familiarize yourself. You don't really need to because he's gonna show up like a firework, I'm sure. But he is an awesome dude, great personality, great content creator, and he's got an awesome story too. So I'm excited to have him on. Creeper Betty, what's up, girl? We see you. Thanks for being here.
What's up?
Is that it or is that it?
I think that's it, man.
That's it. Hell
Happy Friday, everyone.
Have
an awesome weekend.
Are you gaming this weekend?
Maybe a little, but I have so much going on this weekend.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm trying to play more games. I say that all the time, but I really am. Join our Discord. Link in the description below. Check out the multiplayer lobby, and maybe we can all get together. There's a World of Warcraft mod that came out for VR. We didn't even talk about.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I can't believe we didn't even talk about that.
Dang.
But it is what it is. Also, links in the description below to check out Naysy stuff. Not that you need it because you already subscribed to her. We know that. But there it is. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we will see you next week with Awaken Toast.
Bye-bye.